If you're looking to fix this Joyoung soy maker, I want to show you something. Number one, it's a real pain to get apart. But you can see that I took it all apart. This is the top of this unit here. So this is what sits on top. Basically like this, goes in like that. This goes on top like so. And then the motor sits inside. Okay, so this comes out and this goes to this piece here. That is the blender portion of that unit. So this goes and sits on top like so. So the whole thing would go inside and this would go basically inside and lock off just like so. Or if you take this whole unit, this would go in, sit inside, and cap off. And you could see the wires and all that kind of thing. It smelled really bad. It was burning really bad. But when I pulled it apart, I was really nervous about the fact that it seemed really burnt. I thought the wires were burnt, which they are not. Everything is intact. Everything that I took apart was perfect. It's just a lot of soot from the brushes. So the way this sits in here, this goes in like so into this unit. And then this is your mechanism that holds the brushes. You'll see two brushes here and here. And this is what's really torn away from this, which once the brushes wear down, I pulled one apart and you could see this. So if you see that, this is the way it is shut. And then when I pulled it open, it's just a lock. And then you pull this flap down or pull it down. And then spring comes out, which this is the spring. But this on these is hardwired into the unit. So you can see how this was completely smoked out kind of thing. And this is all the residual of, these are probably, when they're fully together, they're probably about that long is what it would be. It's probably about 2/3 the size of what it is now. But for me, it's the first time that I had pulled it apart, and that's kind of why I'm doing this video, is because if you really want to know how to fix this thing, you can get the motor on eBay for $22. So this unit is $299 for these Joyoungs soy makers. So I'm thinking for my wife, fix it. She was upset about it because she only had it. She had it for 2 years, and she uses it every day. It's a religious kind of thing for her because that's her breakfast. And I totally understand. And $299, using it for 2 years, you would think it would last longer, but obviously it's not, because once the brushes wear out, you have to replace the motor. Now, with the motor being said, I didn't know how to pull this apart, like I said, so I used my technique and I removed it by pressing out the motor, this motor first. And in doing that, it sits just like that, and then it has this piece here, which is your blender part. So it blends from here, and so I pushed it down. This is attached to which is a bearing, pressed on here, and then this is all one unit when it's together. And me having to knock it apart was a nightmare. And then this came out, so I finally got this out. And what I found out was that you need a tool, which I do not have. See this right here? This is set up for almost like a socket with 4 prongs that would link into this, and it's reversed threaded. So it reverse threads into the inside of this unit. Now, if you see inside this unit, it threads in. You can see the threads there. And then you see at the bottom where all the seals are that keep it from getting wet and keep it from the soy milk intruding on the motor. You see those 4 screws, those 3 screws. Those 3 screws have to be removed after the motor is removed. So this basically, and I don't know if I can do it, but let me try this. You take this and it recesses in, and it reverse threads in to there and locks. So you need a special tool. So if you really want to go ahead and remove this, don't do like I did by beating the hell out of it with a mallet from this side and pushing it out, thinking that's the way it's done. It's not. What you need to do is take this, reverse thread it out, which is like you're tightening it, but you're not. You're removing it. So out it comes. If I can get it to come out, which I did. So that's the biggie. You have to have this tool. Good luck trying to find it in Japan or China. It isn't. I can't even get. I was thinking that I would need this component here and this component here. They're easy to replace. They're easy to do, but these are computer controls for the pressure buttons here. Okay. These are simple to replace. Can't find them. So it's not even an option. If you do it my way, you blow the seals out at the bottom. You blow the seal out, which is the temperature sensor, which is right. Oops. This is your temperature sensor right here. So it tells you whether or not you're going to burn your soybean, your soy milk. And this is a rubber O-ring kind of seal. And you can see how I ripped it. You can see that's all ripped out. And you don't want to do that. This is the same thing. It's an O-ring. And you don't want to damage that. But by me pressing it out the way I did, I damaged it. You can't get them. So in reality, before you go and buy parts thinking that it's this, or thinking that it's the board, which is not the board. It's not this board. It's this motor. This had already been fixed at one time before she even got it. So instead of it being plug on it, like it would be one of these, would be plugged in right here. It was the actual ground wire was soldered. You could see the solder where it was. You could see the back of it where it was soldered on, right there. And that's not my doing. That's from wherever, but it came as a new unit. Well, guess what? You could show somebody in China that they're not going to freaking replace that. So I just wanted to see why. You know, it smelled really bad, but it's all from the motor. The motor being having two brushes. This, you could see, if I show it to you correctly, you could see this. See how thick these are? This is the way they would be originally. The brushes broke it, pulled it down, and wore it out to where it's like this now. So she's wobbling, she's causing a leak. You could see the wear rate here in this unit because of the wobble. So where it had eaten this and this. So you have to be very, very, it could have been a problem. I mean, it could have been an electrical problem. If this had gotten wet, luckily the seals held at the bottoms, like I showed you here. Those seals held, so it could withstand the wobble. So this once this is out of line, once it's all warped, this wants to just wobble, kind of thing, because it has room to give now instead of it being solid. Even though this is solid going into there and it has that bearing, it's still gonna want to wobble because a little bit, and you'll get a vibration from it. So it'll be enough you won't see it in the bearing because the bearing looks fine, and the bearing held up very well, but you will see it here, and you won't see it if you do it the way I'm not supposed to do it. You know, I beat the hell out of it to get it out of here, and it's really not the way to do it. But because, as you see, I mean, yes, you're going to wind up buying a whole new motor for it, $22. This comes with it. It all comes with it. But try to get it out. I mean, I guess it'll come out. It will come out. But you can see. No, it'll come out easy. So for $22, but the whole problem is you got to find a way. And I don't have it. If somebody comes up with one, it's probably, if I'd come up with one, I'd probably make a fortune on it because, and I may actually build one while I'm not doing anything. And we'll see what happens. But if you want it, I'll make one. If you really need it, and it's a Joyoung motor kind of thing. So I don't know if they're all the same. But it seems like the motors are universal motors. These are all universal motors. So if you have a soy maker and you're having this issue and you want me to make that, I will. But I just don't want you to go through the hassle and bust yours up. I'm going to spend another $2.99 for my wife so that she gets she can make soy milk again. She's very upset about it, but she didn't want to buy another one. She wants to do it. She's doing it herself now, and I don't like that. But anyway, that's besides the point. She's very headstrong. So like I said, if you do get the motor, you can get the motor on eBay, $22. If you do want to tear this apart, that's fine. If you want me to make this, I will have this sitting here, and I will make a tool that allows you to reverse this out, because this is not a normal standard thread. It's reversed. So you have to remember that it's reversed and go the opposite direction. It's lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. That's the way these are. So it's not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. And that will make your life a little bit more easier. Have a good day.